It doesn't show about me. Anyway, so Supriya and I were roommates in Peru, and if you were in Peru, it was like a very except for Aaron Sprague and Rosario, it was a very difficult. It was tough.
Day 2, it was hard.
It was really.
In my talk. Day 2, it was hard.
It was really hard.
And for someone who doesn't work out on a regular basis and doesn't like to hike, and her whole life told her parents she didn't want to hike, this 4-day hike is tough. Anyway, so Supriya and I were roommates. She was laughing at me. We were roommates.
The first day was tough.
I was on the horses and you were on the horses 3 out of 4 days.
What hike?
Peru, Machu Picchu.
I know.
4 days.
Not if you're on a horse.
Okay, anyway. So the first day, this whole trip, Supriya and I have been roommates the whole 10, whatever it is. And we got started on the hike and we start walking and I don't know, we're just slow for some reason. And we're walking together and it's great. And she likes to stop and take pictures because it's really beautiful. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna get there, we're gonna get there. Like Kenny Bellander passes us, Pavan passes us. We're
you're real slow.
No.
Oh my God.
They both were on horses that day too. This is not just anyway. So we're enjoying it, we're having fun, we're doing well. We end up getting on horses because it's gonna get dark, and so we get on horses, we get there, we have to get a tent. Supriya hates camping and hates being cold, so this is like the least of her favorite activities, but we do it. Well, we continue on, and every day, some days she has one, the next day was really tough. There was oxygen difficulties, and it's hard to breathe up there, and you're walking, whatever. So on the way up, I was fine. I was with Vidya. We were just chugging along. Supriya was on a horse at that point. She's losing oxygen. We're just walking. But on the way down, I died essentially, and I couldn't walk anymore. And I was all alone. I was crying, and I get to camp eventually, and I'm bawling, and I won't talk to anyone. And Supriya's the sweetest person to me. She comes up to me. She asks me how I am. When everybody else, I have known her for 5 days at this point, and she's incredibly sweet and genuine and caring about me because I'm a disaster. And this continues for 2 more days, where every day at the end of it, I come home and I'm the next day I came home and I was in my tent and I was crying. It was a disaster. But she was always sweet and supportive and asking me how I was when nobody else really was doing that. And but the thing that kind of stands out for me is the last days. It was really not that bad of a day. It was lots of up and down. I even was going with you two for a while because you're speedy. And then I just lost steam and I was walking by myself. And eventually, and Supriya I think had been on a horse at that point. So at some point she passed me. So this day I wasn't on a horse. At some point she passed me on the horse while I was walking, but whatever. Eventually she gets off, and there's a very long flat road that's left, and when you get to the end, it's light outside, which is very uncommon for us to get to camp before it's light outside. There's a creek you can go swim in. There's this long flat stretch of land, and Supriya kept waiting for me. She'd walk, even if she'd be in front of me, she'd keep walking and she'd stop, and she'd wait for me because I was walking incredibly slow. I had really bad blisters, and she'd keep waiting for me. So I'd get to her, and then she'd keep walking a little bit faster, and then she'd wait. And she waited at the end because we never really knew when we were going to turn. It was a little bit confusing if you were all alone. And but she kept waiting. And so for me, the first impression that I have of Supriya is me being a disaster and her being an incredibly caring and supportive person that I've only known for 5 days. And so I can make fun of myself about this because I literally cried every single day and I don't regret that day. But what stands out for me is the fact that you were just so, even though you at times had trouble, you were always still very supportive and caring for me. So for that.
Leave me on the horse, guys.
I was on a horse most of the day too. Oh God. Anyway, but thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.